When my mom died, I wrote my dad a letter saying that for me to have a relationship with him, he'd have to tell me why he'd done all the things he'd done. He didn't respond. 17 years passed, and then the phone rang. And on went the most flabbergasting conversation I'd ever had. My father spoke to me as if we spoke every day, as if my entire childhood didn't exist. I got off the phone 15 minutes later, utterly bewildered. He wasn't ill or delusional. He was my father, talking to me as if I was his daughter, as if he had a right. But he didn't. In all those years without him, I always thought of him on my birthday, how he must have held me in his arms and thought that he could be a better person than he'd been. A few days after that conversation, my dad wrote me a chatty email. And I replied with what I had said in that letter 17 years ago. And he replied, inquiring what it was I wanted to know. And I wrote the most loving, painful, and forgiving letter, and then press send. His response came so quickly it seemed impossible he'd read the whole thing. In enraged words, my father told me to never bother contacting him again, and that he was glad to finally be rid of me. I didn't cry. I had that feeling you get. There's no word for the feeling when you're happy and sad and angry and accepting and appalled and every other possible emotion all smushed together and amplified. Why is there no word for that feeling? I sat there for so long, thinking, my father is finally rid of me. Perhaps the word is healing. And we don't want to believe that, because we want to believe that healing is more pure and perfect, like a newborn on its birthday. And when we hold it in our arms, we become better people, like we have to.